to give me your loyalty, 'cause I'm taking the world, you'll see. They'll be calling me, they'll be calling me royalty. Best to give me your loyalty, 'cause I'm taking the world, you'll see. They'll be calling me, they'll be calling me royalty.
Hello and welcome to the Toyota GR86, or the Gazoo Racing 86. I have been traveling like crazy, so I apologize if my voice is a little raspy this video. The FRS and the GT86, they're gone. They're gonna go out soon, and this is its replacement. And I know what most of you guys are probably thinking. Why didn't they turbocharge this thing right off the bat? Well, the GR86, what they did was they bored out the engine to a 2.4 liter displacement. And also they retuned it in a lot of different ways to where it's more in the power band all the time. The FRS and GT86, my main complaint was that it felt like it was driving a boat anchor. When you were driving on the street, like, it took forever to wind up. And to me, it was like, why don't you grab an Indy Miata that has a little bit better of a power band? But the new GR86, though, fixes a lot of the things I didn't like in the GT86. First things, let's talk about the interior. The interior is a modernized version of the AE86. So you'll notice that the dash is completely flat, almost all the way to the driver. Everything's very driver-centric, it's very bare bones, it just works. It also comes in manual and automatic, but let's be real, everybody wants to drive the manual if you're into cars. 3, 2, 1. So, in track mode, you get a shift light, which is really handy. The Supra is this car's big brother, but this car has a lot of soul, and the collaboration makes way more sense with this car, in my opinion. The 2.4 in this is so much better than the 2.0 that was in the FRS and GT86 because it never falls out of power. Look, you're not gonna be winning any drag races anytime soon because this car goes 0 to 60 with the manual in 6.1 seconds. So look, by today's standards, it's not a fast straight line car, but once you get it going, it is pretty remarkable how different it is to the GT86. The GT86, I really didn't understand it, like the price point. I didn't get it that much because you had to reel it out so much to the point that it just felt like a drag. This, to me, in every way fixes that with the extra 0.4 liters of displacement. So you have 228 horsepower with 184 foot-pounds of torque. You get all of that torque at 3,700 RPMs. So rather than having it up at like 5,000 RPM, it's now much lower. And that's why it's much, much more direct, see? But this car feels way more like a sequel to the AE86 Trueno than the FRS GT86 did. I truly believe, though, this one is much more inspired by the AE86. Also, they changed their springs and their suspension. It's also got a limited slip differential standard, which is very nice if you want to do some mad skids. And at the same time, the premium comes with Michelin PS4 tires, so you have tons of grip all the time. Panels are made of aluminum, and they actually reinforced the steel in a lot of different places, especially in the quarter panel area. It's a much stiffer car than the last car was. Also, the air vents on the side are functional. And you'll also notice with Aero, they also did these tiny little fins on the rear over fenders that actually increase stability. Like something that small increased that much stability in this car. And look, I am having a ball talking to you right now, full throttle. And look, power is not everything, but this car's power band, it's distributed much better and it's much more fun to drive in my opinion. Also, side note, the back seat actually folds. Oh yeah, that was my bad. I guess I double clutch it, not like you should. Also, the back seat folds up and down, and that is because you can fit 4 spare track tires in the back with the seat folded down, which is a nice feature. So it went from an 86 millimeter to a 94 millimeter bore. That's how much of a difference it is in the new Boxer engine. This is also at an attainable price point. It's under $30,000 starting. And not enough cars nowadays are at that attainable price point, especially a sports car. Another thing I'd like to add, on the premium model, you get this really gnarly looking duckbill on the back. In the first renderings I saw of the GR86, I wasn't super into it. And when they started adding the aero pieces onto it, I was completely sold. It's amazing what a few little things can do to make a car look so much better. That's a second to third gear. Yeah, I don't know, man. Toyota finally knows how to have fun again. Like, that's what I'm so excited about, is that this car feels like the old days. The Supra, to me, is like a weapon of speed, but it's more serious, right? It's this more serious car. It has the BMW roots in it. Sure, it has a little bit of Subaru in it, but Toyota tunes it, Toyota plans it, they design it, Subaru manufactures it. Also, the shifter is perfect. I would not even put a short shifter in this thing. Awesome. See, look, this is the most fun 228 horsepower on the market today, period. I would argue that 10 times over. And I just love that when I look at this dashboard and I look at everything, I see the older influence. I've been blessed to drive an E86, and this is like being in one with all the modern amenities like Apple CarPlay, you know, AC that works. The FA20 I was never a huge fan of, but this one, like it 10 times more. I really went into this going, why didn't they turbo it if they wanted to make an impact? And now as I'm driving it, I'm starting to understand it, and I'm starting to understand why they didn't make that decision. Because sure, having a turbo would make it more cool, but when it comes to a driver experience, I don't know if it would have made it better. Like, this is a controllable, fun car for the masses. You could easily slide this thing and know what's going to happen. And you can turn all the traction control off. You can do all that. Here is the biggest thing I want to talk about with the GR86. During their presentation, they told us that they are excited for the aftermarket. You have other car companies like GM who lock their ECUs and are nearly impossible to tune. Toyota does measuring sessions. They even mentioned SEMA in their presentation, going, we can't wait to see what happens in the tuner market. They understand their audience. They understand that people want to mess with these cars. And as a blank canvas, this thing is a great starting point as a entry-level sports car. And also, if you just wanted something to slide around and be dumb in, like, this is it, man. The AE86 has an amazing legacy, but this really kind of brings it home. And also with that duckbill spoiler, there's no visibility issues. You look in the rearview mirror and you just see this itty bitty duckbill. But what's really great is when you get it, you know the aftermarket is going to be huge. They're going to let people tune the cars, and it's all going to be gravy. The transmission is also beefier because I had to beef it up for the extra power. Even though it's not much more power, they still had to beef it up because more power. Also, down at the bottom are like these fighter jet like switches for all your options and all your like AC modes and everything. I love it. I also love these digital gauges that are built into your AC knobs. So you see the temperature on the knob. So it's very easy to glance down and be like, okay. But like the e-brake is suspiciously in a very convenient spot. And I don't think that was by accident. Like, if I went up to entry for fun, it is right in the right spot to be stupid. Look, I love the Indy Miata. Like, I absolutely adore it. but I would actually take this over the Indy Miata. Like, I don't know, there's something about this and how they've respected the legacy of the older cars, and also they've made it better. It's a better car, and it's just fun. It doesn't take itself too seriously, and a lot of cars nowadays take themselves too seriously. It has really good historical reference. It has a better power plant in it. It's more fun to drive than the last car. If you want, you could put cheap tires on it and make it a drift car. It has really good steering input. It's very direct. Also, they have a fun button for traction control and track mode, and all you have to do is hold it for 3 or 4 seconds. It's ready to go. There's no mumbo jumbo like most modern cars today in order to turn everything off. You know, you have to go through like 2 or 3 menus or something. Take the TRD GT86, for example. It's not a bad car. I actually really enjoy tracking that car. It's fun. But I would take this one every single time. It just fixes all the little things I didn't like about it. Like, when I'm driving this car around, I feel like I need to be blasting running in the 90s everywhere. It fits. It really does fit that initial D era. Feels analog enough in a modern time. So many new cars today, you feel absolutely nothing. This car makes me happy, and it makes me giddy because I am the one in control with a manual gearbox, right? Crisp. The shifts are crisp. I'll be really fascinated to see the difference between this car and maybe the 400Z when that comes out. Because the 400Z is going to be a faster car, but we don't know what the price is going to be on it. So that's a whole thing. The other car, I felt like you had to make it faster. Like, in order to really enjoy it, I felt like you had to boost it or had to put bolt-ons to it. And I'll be honest, when I heard it only made 228 horsepower, I was kind of bummed. But now after driving it, I'm not. It fits the character of the car, and like I said one more time, where they distributed that horsepower is leaps and bounds more fun. It's a more fun car to drive, period. On that note, guys, what do you think about the GR86? Do you like it? Do you like the styling? What do you think of their decision to not turbocharge the engine? I'd love to hear your take on that in the comment section below. Make sure to like this video, and at the same time, thank you all so much for watching once again. And on that note, I upload on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, and I'll see you guys next time, and take it easy. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye. This video is brought to you by Patterson Car Care. Get double of premium original detail product for half the price. Head over to PattersonCarCare.com or go to the link in the description below.